"Drop the knife, Clara, or I swear this mop won't miss." The words sliced through the sunlit living room. 3 people frozen. 2 children on an ivory sofa, hands locked together, knuckles bone white. A woman in a blood-red skirt standing over them, designer heels grinding broken glass into hardwood, kitchen knife catching the light. Between them, a maid. Navy uniform. Yellow gloves dripping lemon water. Wooden mop raised like a weapon. Clara Westwood's blonde hair had torn loose. Lipstick smeared. Eyes dancing between rage and something darker. "You don't understand." The scream cracked her voice. "They were never yours to protect." The children whimpered. The maid, Amara Daniels, didn't blink. 3 weeks on this job. 3 weeks watching. And now she was the only barrier between 2 innocent lives and a woman who'd already killed once. The door exploded open. Mud-caked boots. Green overalls. A man with dirt under his fingernails and something ancient burning in his eyes. He froze when he saw the knife. When he saw his children. When he saw the truth he'd buried for a year dragged into the light. The gardener wasn't a gardener. His name was Vincenzo Moretti. The Mafia boss everyone believed died in flames was very much alive. And the woman holding the knife? She was the one who lit the match. Welcome to MQ Tales, family. New here? Hit subscribe. This story's about to take you somewhere you never expected. To my day one showing up every time, I love you. Let me pray over you before we go deeper. Heavenly Father, protect every person watching this. Cover them with grace. Remind them that no disguise hides truth forever, and no weapon formed against the innocent will prosper. Bless their families, their health, their peace. In Jesus' name, amen. What you're about to hear isn't just about a maid with a mop and a mob boss playing gardener. It's about what happens when the people claiming to love you sharpen the blade behind your back. How sometimes God sends the most unlikely warrior armed with nothing but courage. Have you ever trusted the wrong person? Someone who smiled while planning your destruction? Drop a comment if you've been there. 1 year earlier, Vincenzo Moretti made the choice that should have ended him. He trusted his own syndicate. They lured him to a warehouse outside the city. Called it a meeting. It was an execution. Gasoline. Locked doors. Sulfur and betrayal. When the explosion ripped through the night, every news station screamed, "Mob boss Vincenzo Moretti dead in warehouse inferno." But Vincenzo didn't burn. He crawled through a service tunnel, half his body scorched, ribs shattered, face melted beyond recognition. Through sewers beneath the city that once trembled at his name. And somewhere in that darkness, listening to sirens wail above, he made a decision. Disappear. Completely. Because staying dead was safer. Safer for him. But more importantly, safer for the 2 people who mattered more than his empire. His children. Twin 7-year-olds now living in the pristine suburban estate of Clara Westwood, his ex-fiancée. The woman who'd signed custody papers the moment his death certificate was filed. The woman who smiled at his funeral. The woman who'd orchestrated the whole thing. 6 months later, Vincenzo Moretti ceased to exist. In his place stood Vincent Green, quiet gardener with calloused hands and a fake resume. He found work at the Westwood estate. Clara didn't recognize him. The fire had carved new geography across his face. His voice rasped like gravel. He kept his head down. Trimmed hedges. Planted roses. But every morning at 7, when the children played outside, he was there. Watching from behind sunglasses. Close enough to see them laugh. Close enough to hear them cry. Close enough to know they were terrified. Clara's love looked like prison bars wrapped in silk. The twins had no friends. No freedom. Their smiles never reached their eyes. At night, their bedroom light flickered on at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., too scared to sleep. Vincent wanted to storm in, rip them from that house, and run. But where? His enemies still hunted ghosts. One wrong move and they'd all burn. So he stayed in the shadows, tending gardens, aching, waiting. He didn't know that moment would come in the form of a woman with a mop and too much courage. 3 weeks ago, Amara Daniels needed the job. Rent was late. Car dying. When the employment agency called about a live-in maid position, good pay, room and board, she said yes. The Westwood estate looked like a magazine spread. Manicured lawns. Fountain. Clara Westwood greeted her at the door in a cream pantsuit, smile sharp. "I expect discretion and boundaries," Clara said. "You clean. You cook when asked. You do not involve yourself in family matters. The children are homeschooled. Keep interactions minimal. They're delicate." Something about the word delicate made Amara's skin prickle. But she needed the job. 3 days later, Amara realized something was deeply wrong. The children moved like shadows. Silent. When Clara entered a room, they flinched. When she raised her voice, they froze like prey. Amara watched Clara yank the girl's arm for spilling juice. Lock the boy in his room for laughing too loud. Inspect their plates like a warden. Then there was the gardener. Vincent Green. Always there when the kids played outside. Always standing in the garden when they cried, fists clenched, staring up at their window like he wanted to tear the walls down. One afternoon, Amara brought him lemonade. "You know the family well?" she asked. His hands stilled. "I know enough." Weight pressed down on those words. Their eyes met. His were dark, haunted, burning. "Those kids deserve better," she said quietly. He took the lemonade. Drank it without speaking. But Amara saw his hands shaking. "What would you do if you saw a child being hurt? Would you stay silent to keep your job, or risk everything? Drop your answer below." 2 weeks in, Amara found the first clue. Cleaning Clara's office, a folder slipped. Papers scattered. Bank statements. Legal documents. A death certificate. Vincenzo Moretti. Deceased. Notes scribbled in margins. Estate transfer, finalized. Accounts liquidated. Children, custodial rights secured. At the bottom, Clara's handwriting, no loose ends. Amara's stomach twisted. She glanced at the photo on Clara's desk. Clara and a man with dark hair, sharp eyes. The same eyes burning in the gardener's face. That night, Amara found Vincent in the garden, staring at the children's window. "I saw papers today," she whispered. "About Vincenzo Moretti." Vincent went completely still. "He died in a fire. But there's a picture of him on her desk. He has your eyes." Silence. Then, quietly, "Vincenzo Moretti is dead." "Is he?" In the moonlight, she saw the scars. Old burns. The kind that should have killed someone. "If I tell you the truth, you're in danger. Real danger." Every instinct screamed at Amara to walk away. But she thought of bruised arms. Terrified eyes. Children who never felt safe. "Tell me anyway." Vincent exhaled. "My name is Vincenzo Moretti. Those children are mine. Clara took them the day I was supposed to die. Being dead is the only way I can keep them alive." Amara's mind reeled. "Why not just take them?" "Because my enemies don't stop. If they know I'm alive, everyone near me dies. Clara's counting on it. She controls everything, my money, my empire, my children." Amara looked up at the flickering bedroom light. "We don't have time to wait. She's hurting them now." "You think I don't know that?" "Then stop surviving. Start fighting." Something shifted in Vincent's eyes. "If we do this, there's no going back. Let her come." Amara's voice turned to steel. "I didn't sign up to watch children get hurt." For the first time in a year, Vincenzo Moretti smiled. "You're either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both." Family, comment protect them if you think Amara made the right choice. Because in 48 hours, everything explodes. Clara discovers their alliance. The children learn their father is alive. And the maid becomes the last line of defense. But tonight, 2 strangers became soldiers. And Clara Westwood? She was already sharpening her blade. Clara Westwood wasn't always a monster. Once, She'd been the daughter of a failed politician, drowning in her father's debts. Then she met Vincenzo Moretti at a charity gala. Powerful, magnetic, dangerous. He saw something in her sharp mind and sharper ambition. She saw something in his empire. They fell in love. Or at least, that's what he believed. What Vincenzo didn't know was that Clara had been planted. His rivals paid her father's debts in exchange for access, bank accounts, business meetings, the inner workings of the Moretti empire. She played her role perfectly. Loving fiancé by day, corporate spy by night. When his syndicate turned on him, Clara didn't just know about the warehouse trap. She designed it. The fire was supposed to erase him completely. No body meant no questions. She'd already forged documents transferring his offshore accounts. Had lawyers ready to petition for custody of his children, framed as a grieving fiancé honoring her dead love's wishes. The plan was flawless. Except Vincenzo survived. And now, a year later, she had no idea the ghost was trimming her roses. But Clara wasn't careless. She'd built her new life on paranoia. Security cameras everywhere. Background checks on every staff member. She monitored the children's every move, not out of love, but control. They were her insurance policy. As long as she had them, she had leverage over what remained of the Moretti empire. What she didn't account for was the maid. Amara Daniels' background check came back clean. Single woman, no criminal record, decent references. Clara hired her without a second thought. Big mistake. Because Amara had something Clara's money couldn't detect, a moral compass that refused to bend. And once that compass pointed at evil, nothing could redirect it. 2 days after the garden conversation, Clara noticed something. The maid and the gardener kept crossing paths. Too often. A glance here. A whispered word there. During breakfast service, Amara lingered by the window overlooking the garden where Vincent worked. When Vincent came inside for water, Amara happened to be in the kitchen. Coincidence? Clara didn't believe in coincidence. That evening, she called Amara into her office. Sit. Amara sat, hands folded, face neutral. Clara leaned back in her leather chair, studying her. You've been here 3 weeks. How are you finding the work? It's fine, ma'am. And the children? You interact with them much? Only when necessary. As you instructed. Good. Clara's smile didn't reach her eyes. And the gardener? Vincent, is it? Amara's heartbeat quickened, but her face stayed calm. I've spoken to him once or twice. He keeps to himself. That's interesting. Because my security footage shows you in the garden with him at midnight 2 nights ago. Care to explain? The room went cold. Amara kept her voice steady. I couldn't sleep. Went for air. He was already out there. We exchanged maybe 5 words. About the weather. His work. Nothing important. Clara stood, walking slowly around her desk. Predator circling prey. You know what I find fascinating, Amara? People think they can lie to me. They think if they keep their face calm, their voice steady, I won't see the truth. She leaned down, breath hot against Amara's ear. But I always see it. Amara's pulse hammered. I'm not lying. Then look me in the eye and tell me, what were you really doing in that garden? Their eyes locked. Amara refused to blink. Getting air. That's all. Seconds stretched like hours. Finally, Clara straightened. You're dismissed. But Amara? Stay away from the gardener. And stay away from my children. I'd hate to lose such a competent maid over a misunderstanding. The threat hung in the air like poison. Amara stood, legs shaking, and walked out. That night, she found a note slipped under her door. She knows. Be careful. V. Amara crumpled it, heart racing. If Clara suspected them, how long before she acted? How long before the children paid the price? She looked out her window toward the garden. Vincent stood in shadows, barely visible. Watching. Waiting. 2 soldiers in a war where one wrong move meant death. And somewhere in the house, Clara Westwood smiled, sharpening her blade for the cut she'd been planning all along. Family, if you've ever felt like someone was watching your every move, comment, I see you. Because Clara's paranoia is about to turn this house into a prison. And the walls are closing in faster than anyone realizes. The next morning, everything changed. Amara came downstairs to find the children's bedroom door locked from the outside. She heard crying inside, muffled, desperate. "Hello." She knocked gently. "Are you okay in there?" The crying stopped. Small voice, "The girl, she locked us in. We missed breakfast. We're sorry." Amara's blood boiled. "You have nothing to be sorry for. Please don't tell her we talked to you. Please." The fear in that voice shattered something in Amara. She tried the handle. Locked tight. "I'm going to get you out. I promise." She found Clara in the sunroom, sipping coffee, reading a magazine like locking children in rooms was normal. "The children's door is locked," Amara said, keeping her voice level. Clara didn't look up. "They misbehaved. They're children. They're my children. And they need to learn consequences." Consequences for what? Now Clara looked up, eyes ice cold. "For asking questions they shouldn't ask. For mentioning their father when I've told them repeatedly he's gone and never coming back. For making me repeat myself." Amara's fists clenched. "How long are you planning to keep them locked in there?" "Until they learn." Clara returned to her magazine. "You're dismissed. They haven't eaten. They'll survive. You, however, won't survive much longer if you keep questioning me. Remember your place, Amara. You clean. You don't parent." Every instinct screamed at Amara to flip that table. Instead, she walked away, jaw locked. Because losing her temper meant losing her job. And losing her job meant those children had no one. Outside, Vincent was pulling weeds near the house. Amara walked past, whispered without looking, "Children locked in their room. No food. She's escalating." Vincent's hands stilled. Dirt crumbled between his fingers. "How long?" "Since last night." She heard him exhale, rage trapped behind clenched teeth. "I'm going in." "You can't. She'll know." "I don't care anymore." "Vincent." Amara stopped, finally looking at him. "If you blow your cover now, we lose everything. She'll call the police, claim you're an intruder, and you'll never see them again. We have to be smart." "Smart?" "My kids are starving in a locked room. And charging in there gets them taken away permanently. Is that what you want?" The truth hit him like a fist. He dropped the weeds, hands shaking with helpless fury. Amara softened. "Tonight. When she's asleep. I'll unlock the door, get them food. You stay close in case something goes wrong. But we do this carefully." "Agreed." Vincent's jaw worked. Finally, he nodded. "Agreed." That night, Amara waited until Clara's bedroom light went dark. She crept upstairs, carrying a tray of sandwiches and juice. The house was silent except for the grandfather clock ticking in the hall. She reached the children's door. Pulled out the key she'd stolen from Clara's office earlier. Hands shaking, she unlocked it. The door opened with a soft click. Inside, two small shapes huddled together on one bed, awake, terrified. "It's okay," Amara whispered. "It's just me." They didn't move. Too scared. She set the tray down, knelt beside the bed. "I brought food. You must be hungry." The boy, darker hair, his father's eyes, spoke first. "You'll get in trouble." "Let me worry about that." The girl, lighter hair, her mother's nose, asked, "Why are you helping us?" Amara's throat tightened. "Because someone should have helped me once. And nobody did. I won't let that happen to you." The children stared at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. Kindness was foreign here. Slowly, they reached for the sandwiches. Ate like they were starving. Which they were. "Can I ask you something?" the boy whispered. "Anything." "Do you know our dad?" Amara's heart stopped. "What?" "Clara says he's dead. But sometimes." He glanced at his sister. "Sometimes we see the gardener looking at us. And he has Dad's eyes. We think we're going crazy." Family, have you ever wanted to tell someone the truth but knew it would destroy them? Comment yes or no. Because Amara was standing at that exact crossroads. She could tell them. Could give them hope. Could reunite a father with his children right now. Or she could lie. Keep them safe a little longer. Wait for the right moment. Your dad loved you very much, Amara said carefully. I didn't know him. But I know that kind of love doesn't die. Even when people do. Not a lie. Not the truth. Something in between. The girl's eyes filled with tears. We miss him. I know, sweetheart. I know. A floorboard creaked in the hallway. All three froze. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Coming closer. Amara's blood turned to ice. She looked at the children. Hide the food. Get in bed. Pretend you're asleep. Now. They moved fast, shoving sandwiches under pillows, diving under covers. Amara stood, heart hammering. The doorknob turned. Clara stood in the doorway, robe cinched tight, hair wild, eyes gleaming with fury. Well, well, she said softly. I knew you'd try something. Didn't I tell you to stay away from my children? They were hungry. They were being punished. They're children, not criminals. Clara stepped into the room. The door clicked shut behind her. And in that moment, Amara realized she'd made a terrible mistake. Because Clara wasn't just angry. She was ready to eliminate a problem. You're fired, Clara said, voice cold as steel. Pack your things. You have 1 hour. Amara's stomach dropped. You can't. I absolutely can. You violated direct orders. Interfered with my parenting. You're done. From under the covers, a small voice, please don't fire her. Clara's head snapped toward the bed. Excuse me. The boy sat up, trembling but defiant. She was just feeding us. We were so hungry. Please. Go back to sleep. No. His sister sat up too. You're mean to us. You lock us up. You hurt us. And you fired everyone who was nice. Why do you hate us so much? The room went deadly silent. Clara's face twisted into something ugly. Hate you? I gave up everything for you, ungrateful little, she caught herself. Smoothed her expression. But the mask had cracked. Just for a second, they'd all seen the monster underneath. Go to sleep, Clara repeated, softer now. Dangerous. We'll discuss this in the morning. She grabbed Amara's arm, nails digging in. You. Downstairs. Now. They descended to the kitchen. Clara released her, paced like a caged animal. Do you know what you've done? You've undermined me. Made me look weak in front of them. You locked them in a room without food. You didn't need my help looking weak. The slap came fast. Amara's head snapped sideways, cheek burning. Know your place, Clara hissed. You're hired help. Nothing more. Amara touched her stinging face, fury rising. And you're a child abuser. Nothing more. Clara's eyes narrowed. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Oh, I think I do. I've seen the papers. The bank statements. Vincenzo Moretti's death certificate with your handwriting all over it. You didn't just take custody. You stole everything. The color drained from Clara's face. You went through my files. Someone had to. You have no proof. No evidence. Just conspiracy theories from a nosy maid who's about to lose everything. Am I? Amara stepped closer. Because I'm pretty sure those papers are still in your office. And I'm pretty sure the police would be very interested in notes about loose ends and eliminating problems. Especially when those problems are children. Clara's hand moved to the knife block on the counter. Fingers wrapped around a handle. Careful, Amara said quietly. The gardener's right outside. And he's been watching this kitchen the whole time. Clara glanced toward the window. Sure enough, Vincent stood in shadow, eyes locked on them through the glass. She released the knife. Forced a smile. You're bluffing. Try me. Standoff. 2 women, 1 kitchen, a lifetime of secrets hanging in the balance. Finally, Clara spoke, voice syrup sweet with poison underneath. Fine. You can stay. But understand this, you step out of line again, I won't fire you. I'll bury you. And nobody will ever find the body. Are we clear? Crystal. Good. Now get out of my sight. Amara walked outside, legs shaking. Vincent met her at the garden gate. You okay? She slapped me. Threatened to kill me. But I'm still here. She'll try again. You know that, right? Let her try. Amara's eyes burned with determination. I'm not going anywhere until those kids are safe. Vincent looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time. You're insane. So are you. You literally faked your death and became a gardener. Despite everything, he almost smiled. Fair point. They stood in the moonlight, two broken people who'd found something to fight for. She's planning something, Vincent said. Something big. I can feel it. Then we plan something bigger. Like what? Amara turned to face him fully. We stop playing defense. We go on offense. We expose her before she eliminates us. How? I don't know yet. But we'll figure it out. Together. Vincent extended his hand. Amara took it. Not a handshake. A pact. A promise. Whatever came next, they'd face it as allies. Comment allies if you think they can take Clara down. Because in 24 hours, Clara's going to make her move. And it's going to force Vincent to do something he swore he'd never do again. Become Vincenzo Moretti. Clara Westwood stood in her office at 3 a.m., phone pressed to her ear. I need it done quietly, she said. No mess. No witnesses. The voice on the other end was mechanical, professional. Timeline. 2 days. Maybe 3. I have a gardener and a maid who've become problems. Both. That'll cost extra. I don't care what it costs. Just make them disappear. She hung up, poured herself whiskey. Her hands shook, not from fear, from rage. Everything she'd built over the past year was unraveling because of two nobodies who wouldn't mind their business. The gardener was the real mystery. Something about him nagged at her. The way he moved. The way he watched the children. She'd checked his background, Vincent Green, clean record, references checked out. But her instincts screamed something was wrong. Then there was the maid. Amara was too brave. Too curious. Too willing to fight back. Clara had dealt with nosy staff before, but never someone who looked at her with such open contempt. They had to go. Both of them. But first, she needed insurance. Clara opened her safe, pulled out a folder. Inside, plane tickets to Switzerland, bank account numbers, new passports for her and the children. She'd always had an exit strategy. If things went south, she'd vanish with the twins and the money. Let Vincent's enemies hunt a ghost. She'd be sipping wine in Geneva while they tore apart the states looking for her. She just needed 2 more days. 2 days to eliminate witnesses. 2 days to tie up loose ends. Then she'd disappear forever, and nobody would ever know Clara Westwood was really. A noise outside her office. She froze. Footsteps in the hall. Slow. Deliberate. She grabbed the letter opener from her desk, crept to the door, pressed her ear against it. Breathing. Someone was right outside. Who's there? She called out. Silence. Then, a voice. Deep. Familiar. Impossible. Hello, Clara. Her blood turned to ice. She knew that voice. But it couldn't be. He was dead. She'd watched him burn. She threw open the door. Empty hallway. No one there. But on the floor, a single white rose. The kind Vincenzo used to leave on her pillow when they were together. The kind that only grew in one place, her garden. Clara's hands shook so violently she dropped the letter opener. He was alive. Vincenzo Moretti was alive. And he'd been in her house this entire time. The next morning, Clara called an emergency staff meeting. Amara, Vincent, the housekeeper, the chef, everyone crammed into the dining room. Clara stood at the head of the table, eyes bloodshot, paranoia leaking from every pore. We have a security issue, she announced. Someone's been in my office. Going through my files. Stealing documents. Amara kept her face neutral. Beside her, Vincent didn't move. "I've contacted the police," Clara continued. "They'll be investigating. Anyone caught stealing will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is your one chance to confess. After this, there's no mercy." No one spoke. Clara's eyes landed on Vincent. Lingered. "Vincent, isn't it? How long have you worked here?" "6 months, ma'am." "And you live on the property?" "Small quarters above the garage." Convenient." She stepped closer. "Have we met before? You look familiar." Vincent's jaw tightened. "No, ma'am. I don't believe so." "Strange. I could swear I've seen your eyes before." The room held its breath. Amara jumped in. "Ma'am, with all due respect, maybe the security breach is from outside? We all passed background checks. Maybe someone broke in." Clara's gaze shifted to her. "Oh, I don't think so. I think the threat is very much inside this house. Living here. Breathing our air. Pretending to be something they're not." She walked slowly around the table, predator circling prey. "People think they can lie to me," she continued. "They think if they wear a disguise, change their name, their face, their voice, I won't recognize them. But I always do. Eventually." She stopped behind Vincent. Put her hand on his shoulder. He flinched. "The truth always comes out," Clara whispered. "Always." She released him, walked to the door. "Meeting dismissed. But know this, I'm watching all of you. Every single second." She left. The room exhaled. Vincent stood abruptly. "I need air." Amara followed him outside. Found him by the rose bushes, fists clenched, breathing hard. "She knows," he said. "She doesn't have proof, but she knows. Then we have to move now. Tonight. Get the kids and run." "Run where?" "She's got connections everywhere. The moment we leave, she'll have police hunting us for kidnapping." "So what do we do?" Vincent turned to her, eyes burning with decision. "We don't run. We fight." But not as Vincent Green. He pulled off his gardener's gloves. "It's time for Vincenzo Moretti to come back from the dead." Family, drop a reveal in the comments if you're ready to see the monster come out of hiding. Because Clara just made the biggest mistake of her life. She woke a sleeping dragon. And dragons don't forgive. It happened at noon. Bright sunshine. Birds singing. The kind of day when evil shouldn't exist. Clara was on the phone in her study, door locked, making final arrangements. "I want them gone by tonight. No exceptions." Upstairs, the children played quietly in their room, unaware that their world was about to explode. In the garden, Vincent wasn't planting anymore. He was preparing. Every tool, every weapon, every exit route memorized. This ended today. One way or another. And in the kitchen, Amara was doing something she'd never done before. She was praying. Not the scripted prayers from church. Real, desperate prayers. "God, I don't know how this ends. But please, protect those babies. Whatever happens to me, protect them." Then she heard it. A scream. Childish. Terrified. Coming from upstairs. She dropped the dish towel, ran. Took stairs 2 at a time. The children's door was open. Inside, chaos. Clara had the girl by the arm, dragging her toward the hallway. The boy was on the floor, blood dripping from his nose. "What are you doing?" Amara shouted. "Taking care of loose ends." Clara's voice was hollow. Empty. "These children have become liabilities. Time to cut losses." The girl sobbed. "Please, we'll be good. We promise." Too late for promises. Amara stepped forward. "Let her go." "Or what? You'll stop me? You're a maid with delusions of heroism." "No." Amara grabbed her mop from the hallway, ridiculous, desperate, the only weapon she had. "I'm someone who's tired of watching you hurt people." Clara laughed. Actually laughed. "You're going to fight me with a mop?" "If I have to." "Then you're stupider than I thought." Clara released the girl, reached into her jacket, pulled out a knife. The same kitchen knife from that night. She'd been carrying it ever since. Last chance, Clara said softly. Walk away. Pretend you saw nothing. Live another day. No. Your funeral. Clara lunged. Amara swung the mop. Wooden handle cracked against Clara's wrist. The knife clattered to the floor. Clara howled, clutched her arm. The children screamed. And the door burst open. Vincent stood in the doorway. No more gardener disguise. Hair slicked back. Scars visible. Eyes burning with recognition and rage. Put it down, Clara, he growled, voice no longer gentle. Clara gasped. Stumbled back. Vincent? You're supposed to be dead. You made that mistake once. He stepped into the room. You won't make it twice. Vincenzo. The girl whispered from behind Amara. He didn't take his eyes off Clara. It's me, baby. I'm here. I'm real. But you died. She said you died. She lied. About everything. The boy, braver now, stood up despite his bloody nose. You're really our dad? I'm really your dad. Tears streamed down both children's faces. A year of grief, confusion, fear, pouring out in seconds. Clara's shock turned to fury. You think you can just walk back into their lives? You're a wanted man. A criminal. I'll call the police right now and... With what evidence? Vincent cut her off. The death certificate you forged? The bank accounts you stole? The custody papers you falsified? Go ahead. Call them. Let's see who goes to prison. Clara's face went white. She hadn't expected this. Hadn't expected him to have evidence. Hadn't expected him to fight back. I've been watching you for months, Vincent continued. Every phone call. Every meeting. Every crime you thought you'd gotten away with. I have recordings. Documents. Witnesses. You're done, Clara. You're bluffing. Am I? He pulled out his phone. Played an audio clip. Clara's voice. I need it done quietly. No mess. No witnesses. I have a gardener and a maid who've become problems. Just make them disappear. Her face crumbled. Where did you? Planted a bug in your office weeks ago. The mop Amara carries? Has a recorder in the handle. Every threat, every confession, every evil thing you've said, documented. Amara blinked. She'd been carrying evidence this whole time without knowing. Clara backed toward the window. Trapped. Desperate. You can't prove anything. I'll say it was taken out of context. I'll... Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. I already called them, Vincent said quietly. 5 minutes ago. They're coming for you. No. No, I won't go down for this. I won't. She grabbed the knife from the floor. Held it to her own throat. If I can't have this life, neither can you. The children screamed. Amara lunged forward. Clara, don't. But Vincent was faster. He crossed the room in 2 strides, knocked the knife from her hand, pinned her against the wall. You don't get to take the easy way out, he said through gritted teeth. You're going to face every single thing you've done. To me. To my children. To everyone you've hurt. You're going to live with it in a cage where you belong. Police burst through the front door. Footsteps thundering upstairs. Officers flooded the room, weapons drawn. She's the one, Vincent said, releasing Clara. All the evidence you need is on that phone. They handcuffed her. Read her rights. She didn't fight. Just stared at Vincent with hollow eyes as they led her away. You'll regret this, she whispered as she passed him. You'll never be free. They'll find you. They'll finish what I started. Let them try. And she was gone. Dragged from the house she'd stolen, screaming about injustice as sirens echoed into the afternoon. The children stood frozen, processing everything. Their father was alive. Their guardian was arrested. The maid with the mop had saved them. Vincent knelt in front of them, hands shaking. I'm so sorry. For everything. For hiding. For not being there. For... They crashed into him. Both at once. Arms around his neck, crying, clinging like he might disappear again. "Don't leave us," the girl sobbed. "Please don't leave us again." "Never," he whispered into their hair. "I swear on my life. Never again." Amara stood back, tears streaming down her face. This was why she'd risked everything. For this moment. This reunion. Vincent looked up at her over the children's heads. Mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." She nodded. No words needed. Because sometimes the strongest weapon God gives you isn't a gun or a knife. It's a mop. And the courage to raise it when evil walks into the room. Comment justice if you're glad Clara's finally going to pay. Because this story's almost over. But there's one more chapter. One more moment. One more truth that needs to be told. 3 months later. The Westwood estate didn't exist anymore. Not officially. Vincent had sold it, donated most of the money to organizations fighting child abuse. What remained went into a trust for his children and a generous gift to the woman who'd saved them all. Amara Daniels. She stood in the garden of a new house, smaller, warmer, actually feeling like a home, watching the twins play soccer on the grass. They laughed now. Real laughs. The kind that came from deep in the belly, untainted by fear. Vincent was teaching them footwork, running beside them, hair messy, smile genuine. No more disguises. No more hiding. Just a father with his kids on a Sunday afternoon. "You know you don't have to stay," Vincent said later, as they sat on the porch with lemonade. "You've done more than enough. I can pay you enough to start over anywhere you want." Amara smiled. "And miss watching these 2 grow up? Not a chance. They love you. You know that, right?" "I love them too." He looked at her, really looked at her, for a long moment. "I don't think I can ever repay what you did." "You already have. You gave me a family. A purpose. A reason to believe good people still exist. Even mobster gardeners. Especially mobster gardeners." They laughed. Easy. Comfortable. 2 people who'd walked through fire and came out stronger. Inside, the children were doing homework at the kitchen table. The girl looked up. "Is Amara staying forever?" she asked her brother. "I think so." "Good. I don't want her to leave." "Me neither. She's basically our mom now." They said it so casually. So matter-of-factly. Like it was the most obvious truth in the world. Outside, neither Amara nor Vincent heard. But if they had, they wouldn't have disagreed. That evening, as the sun set over the new garden, Vincent planted a single white rose bush. The children helped, getting dirt under their nails, laughing when worms appeared. "Why roses, Dad?" the boy asked. "Because roses are survivors. You can cut them back, burn them, try to kill them. But they always grow back stronger. Just like us." The girl touched a petal gently. "Like our family?" "Exactly like our family." Amara watched from the porch, heart full. This was it. This was what she'd risked everything for. Not the dramatic rescue. Not the justice. This. Quiet moments. Healing. A family learning to be whole again. "You did good," a voice said beside her. She turned. An older woman stood there, kind eyes, warm smile. One of the neighbors who'd befriended them since they moved in. "Thank you," Amara said. "Not many people would have done what you did. Standing up to evil like that. Risking your life for children who weren't even yours. They needed someone. I just happened to be there." "No, honey. God put you there. Right place, right time, right heart. That's not coincidence. That's purpose." The words settled over Amara like a blessing. Maybe the neighbor was right. Maybe everything, the job, the timing, the courage, had been orchestrated by something bigger than herself. 6 months after that, Clara Westwood stood trial. The evidence was overwhelming. Fraud, embezzlement, attempted murder, conspiracy. The recordings from Amara's mop, which Vincent had modified without telling her, played in court. Clara's voice, cold and calculating, confessing to everything. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. 25 years. No parole. Vincent didn't attend the sentencing. Neither did the children. They'd moved on. Let the justice system do its work while they focused on healing. But Amara went. She sat in the back row, watching Clara in her orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed, face hollow. Their eyes met across the courtroom. Clara's gaze held no remorse. Just emptiness. A woman who'd sacrificed her humanity for power and lost everything. Amara felt no satisfaction. No victory. Just sadness for who Clara could have been if she'd chosen differently. As they led Clara away, Amara whispered a prayer. God, forgive her. Because I can't. Not yet. But maybe someday. Then she walked out of the courthouse into sunshine, toward a car where Vincent and the twins waited to take her home. 1 year after the day that changed everything, the family gathered in their garden for a celebration. The twins' 9th birthday. Cake. Balloons. Friends from school. Laughter echoing off the walls. Vincent pulled Amara aside as the kids played. I need to tell you something. Sounds serious. It is. He took a breath. I'm officially out. Retired from everything. My old life, my old associates, all of it. I met with them last week, signed papers, transferred what remained of the empire. I'm just Vincent now. Not Vincenzo. Not a gardener pretending. Just me. Amara smiled. How does it feel? Terrifying. And free. He paused. But there's something else. The kids asked me a question last night. What question? They wanted to know if you were staying forever. If you were officially part of this family. Amara's heart skipped. What did you tell them? That it wasn't my decision alone. That you get to choose your own life. He met her eyes. But I hope you choose us. Not as an employee. As family. Real family. Tears blurred Amara's vision. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. She looked at the twins, frosting on their faces, pure joy in their eyes. Looked at Vincent, no longer a mobster or a ghost, just a father trying his best. Looked at the garden they'd planted together, roses blooming where ashes used to be. Then yes, she whispered. I choose you. All of you. Vincent exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for a year. Thank God. The twins noticed them talking, ran over. What are you guys whispering about? Just telling Amara she's stuck with us, Vincent said, ruffling their hair. Forever? The girl asked hopefully. Amara knelt down, pulled them both into a hug. Forever. They cheered, dragged her back to the party. Vincent watched them go, heart full, thinking about how close he'd come to losing everything. How a woman with a mop and impossible courage had saved not just his children, but him. Later that night, after guests left and kids were asleep, Amara and Vincent sat on the porch. Stars blazing overhead. Crickets singing. You ever think about that day? Amara asked. The knife, the mop, how insane it all was. Every day. How you stood between my kids and a woman with a blade, armed with nothing but wood and faith. I was terrified. You didn't show it. Oh, I was shaking inside, praying like I'd never prayed before. She smiled. Guess God answered. He did more than answer. He sent exactly who we needed when we needed them most. Amara looked at him. You believe that? In God, I mean. After everything you've done, everything you've been. Vincent was quiet for a long moment. I didn't. For years, I thought God had forgotten men like me. But then I crawled through those sewers half dead, and all I could think was please let me see my kids one more time. And somehow, impossibly, I survived. Found my way back to them. Found you. He shook his head. That's not luck. That's grace. Grace for mobsters and maids with mops. Especially for mobsters and maids with mops. They sat in comfortable silence, two broken people made whole by something bigger than themselves. Inside, the girl stirred awake, climbed out of bed, walked to the window overlooking the garden. Saw her father and Amara talking on the porch below. Her brother appeared beside her. Can't sleep either? Just thinking. About what? About how different everything is now. How we're not scared anymore. How Dad came back. How Amara saved us. The boy nodded. We're lucky. No. We're blessed. She said it with the certainty only children possess. God sent her to us. Just like Dad said. You think they'll get married someday? The girl giggled. Maybe. Dad looks at her the way he used to look at Mom. The real look. Not the fake one with Clara. That would be cool. Amara's already basically our mom anyway. The best mom. They watched a moment longer, then climbed back into bed. Safe. Loved. Finally able to sleep without nightmares. 2 years later, the garden had grown into something magnificent. Roses of every color, fruit trees, vegetable beds the kids helped maintain. A sanctuary built from ashes. Vincent proposed to Amara there, on a Sunday morning with the twins hiding behind rose bushes trying not to giggle. She said yes before he finished asking. They married quietly, small ceremony, close friends, the twins as joint maids of honor and best men. No mobsters. No drama. Just love. Vincent started a security consulting business, helping protect families from predators. Amara went back to school, got her counseling degree, specialized in helping children escape abusive situations. The twins thrived, honors classes, soccer teams, the kind of normal childhood they'd been denied. And every evening, they gathered in that garden. Talking. Laughing. Healing together. 5 years after the day that changed everything, a reporter tracked them down. Wanted to write a story about the maid who saved a mafia boss's children. Vincent said no immediately. But Amara surprised him. Maybe we should, she said. Why? Because somewhere out there, someone's in the situation we were in. A child being hurt. A good person too scared to act. If our story gives even one person the courage to stand up, isn't that worth it? Vincent looked at the twins, now teenagers, strong and whole. What do you two think? Do it, the boy said. If it helps someone else, we're in. The girl nodded. Our story doesn't belong just to us anymore. So they told it. The whole truth. The warehouse fire, the disguise, the maid with the mop, the woman who chose evil and the woman who chose courage. The article went viral. Millions of views. Comments from survivors who'd been inspired to leave abusive situations. From bystanders who'd found the courage to intervene. From children who'd learned their voice mattered. The twin school friends thought it was the coolest thing ever. Their dad used to be a mobster. Their mom stopped a murder with a mop. They became legends. But at home, away from the attention, they remained what they'd always been. A family. Imperfect, healing, held together by love and grace. 10 years later, Vincent sat in that same garden, now older grayer, watching his adult children graduate college. The girl became a lawyer fighting for children's rights. The boy became a counselor working with at-risk youth. Both of them dedicating their lives to protecting others the way they'd been protected. Amara sat beside him, hand in his, watching with tears of pride. We did good, Vincent whispered. We did what we had to. God did the rest. You really believe that? I know that. She squeezed his hand. A maid with a mop doesn't take down a murderer and save 2 kids unless something bigger is directing the story. Vincent smiled. Fair point. The twins ran over after the ceremony, caps and gowns flying. Hugged their parents tight. We love you, they said in unison. We love you too, Amara and Vincent replied. And in that moment, in that garden where evil once reigned and grace rebuilt, a family stood together. Proof that no disguise can hide truth forever. That no weapon formed against the innocent will prosper. That sometimes God sends the most unlikely warrior with the simplest weapon to change everything. Sometimes that warrior is a maid with a mop. And sometimes that's exactly enough. Family, if this story touched you, if it reminded you that courage comes in unexpected forms, drop amen in the comments. Because here on Q-Tales, every story has a purpose. To remind you that good still exists. That evil doesn't get the last word. That standing up for what's right, even when you're terrified, even when all you have is a mop and faith, can change the world. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the strongest protector isn't always the one with a gun. Sometimes it's the one with a mop and a heart full of courage. Until next time, family. Stay blessed. Stay strong. and never stop standing in the gap for others. This is MQ Tales, reminding you, no disguise can hide truth forever.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.